lately. All right, so we are live. So welcome to Braid Girls, everybody. Today the topic is 4-H, and my Braid Girl is Stephanie from GS Farms 2004. I do have her link below for you to go check out her channel, and she has amazing things going on. In the past, Stephanie and I have talked about just general farming, about farming burnout, about farming when you have some physical limitations. And today we're talking about 4-H, which is near and dear to both of our hearts. And I'm going to go ahead and start because my experience with 4-H is a little more limited, a little less, I think, professional than what Stephanie's is. So I started 4-H when I was 8 or 9, I guess. I think I started it at 8, but my first project was when I was 9. I had a little bum lamb that I raised, which means I bottle raised it. And I had all this wool when it got to its first year, and I really wanted to know how to spin it. And that was when I got into like the home arts textile type 4-H stuff. Went to some really fun 4-H camps where they taught us how to spin by taking a pencil and sticking it in half a potato to use as a drop spindle. And so I did that with my, it kind of, I don't know about you, Stephanie, but part of it was kind of the fun of the things kind of overlapped. Is that because I got into the animals, I got into the textiles. And because I got into textiles, then I wanted to learn how to make bread. Because it seemed like these were all really cool skills that, because they all seemed to kind of come into homemaking and improving your own home. Did you ever get that sense as a kid that they were all interconnected?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think anything in the agricultural industry, it's all connected. Regardless of what I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but regardless of what you get into in the agricultural field, it's all connected in my opinion. So
well, and I don't know, we had I think we went through our 4-H with the same family. It was a homeschooling group of 4-Hers, and so we were back and forth at each other's homes. The moms were the ones teaching us how to make bread or how to sew something, and the moms would sit there and be able to sit and visit, and we'll get into that later as far as like our experience with like family life in 4-H, because it is one more thing that you add onto your plate. Let's see, the one 100% recreational 4-H thing that I did was I had a horse. I did some 4-H horse classes and some clinics and stuff like that, and it was super fun. It was really nice to have people that were more experienced than my parents to be able to help with these activities, because a lot of times the leaders have their own animals and they have a huge amount of experience. And so if you have an activity you want your child to be involved in, 4-H is a very safe place that doesn't cost huge amounts of money for private lessons and things like that. It really is meant to be a community building experience. So Stephanie, go ahead and tell us about all the different programs that you were in with your 4-H.
When I was in 4-H, I was in it from the time I was 8 to 18. I aged out. That is the maximum age that you can be in 4-H. And then FFA kind of takes over after that. But I always had a steer every year. I always showed my rabbits, and I showed my chickens and things like that. I did show a sheep one year. That was the very first year when I was 8. My dad didn't think I could handle a 1,400-pound animal. So, but anyway, so and then I also did a lot with the home arts. I did the gardening. I did the the photography, cake decorating. I did a lot of the food preservation, and I did a lot of baking. My grandma, she always helped me out with that, and her zucchini bread muffins went to State Fair every year.
Wow.
Once the judges got a taste of those things, it was kind of hands down their favorite.
Right.
luckily there was a different judge every year, so they were kind of impressed every year.
Uh-huh.
But that's kind of what I did. I did a lot more than that. It's kind of hard to remember everything. I kind of dipped my toe in the water to a lot of different things, and that's kind of, you know, for kids it's beneficial. They can see what they do and see what they don't like. You know,
Right.
they can get into different things that maybe they wouldn't even have tried. You know, they see another kid in their 4-H group doing something and they think, well, that might be really neat, and they want to try it. So
Yeah.
like Cassidy this last year, she saw all the woodworking projects that were turned into the fair. She wants to do woodworking next year.
How fun.
And that's something that I never did. So we'll have to get my dad involved because he's a carpenter. So
Mm-hmm.
even though all of his kids are aged out of 4-H, he's getting drawn back in with his grandkids too. So, and it really is, it's a community thing. Our 4-H club is really small, but we have a lot of kids from just in the community around here in the little area that we have. And I think it really helps the kids being able to, in such a rural area, they're able to get together and have a good time at the 4-H meetings. And then when it comes time to have the fair, or we have what's called a Callaway Youth Expo here where we are. It's an expo. But whenever it comes time to present their projects and things, they can all just be kind of like, yeah, wow, that's how that turned out, if they had seen it, you know, in the making and things like that. So.
Well, and one thing that I remember strongly was that it was really fun because it was the parents that were teaching the 4-H. It, you know, the parents in the community were teaching according to what their skill level was. And so a lot of parents that felt unequal to the task of teaching something to their child, they felt like it was an important skill, but they didn't really have it themselves. A lot of times for us, it would be a get-together chatty session for the moms while they were teaching the kids what it was they were supposed to be doing. But again, it wasn't a matter of it costing hundreds of dollars a month because you had 5 kids and needing to be able to put them into some kind of specialized class to teach them. It was, you know, you could learn canning, you could learn how to make bread, you could learn, you know, you had the records that you kept to take care of your animal to get ready to go to the fair. And a lot of times, like you said, in a small community, the kids go with each other through all the different classes, and you build some automatic friendships that are separate from school and that kind of thing. And I mean, it's meant to be a club, 4-H, a club situation. And and there's so many different options. In our fair here, that's very small and very local, the kids, it doesn't matter really what they make. If they submit something to the fair, they're guaranteed to walk away with $5, which I'm not sure how exactly they do that, but they want the kids, as far as like the textiles and stuff like that, they really want the kids getting into textiles. They really want them getting into homemade stuff, and it's an exceptionally small fair. It didn't used to be this small, but it, you know, they don't have as many participants as they used to. And I don't know. I think that's kind of sad that we look at our local fairs and our local 4-H groups kind of look down our noses at it like, well, that's not very exceptional because there's not very many participants anymore. But I think it's really important when you're supporting the 4-H to also remember to go to the fair, go to your local fair, go to your local exhibitions that you're doing, so that the people who are putting it on feel like they get some of that recognition of your community and what you're doing as a group.
I agree. A lot of people don't know all of the work that is involved in putting on a fair. It requires many people over many months, putting their volunteered time. This none of it's paid. They're all volunteers putting their volunteer time into this so that the kids may have a chance to present their projects and different things like that. Because it's a lot of work. We here in our county, we have separated from the regular fair, just for the reason that it was getting to the point where it wasn't about the kids. It was more about how much money we can make during this event. Well, we've separated, and it's taken 4 years now to get to the level where we really like it. The kids have a great time. We don't have to worry about the kids. You can just turn them loose and have the roam of the fairgrounds. Everybody knows each other. It's really, really nice. And the kids, I think, really enjoy it a lot better that way.
Yeah.
And a lot of the community is coming together. We're I think next year they're talking about maybe doing pie baking contests, Dutch oven cooking contests, trying to bring more of the community in, having a parade to kick off the expo. And getting involved, you can get involved many different ways. You can donate monetarily, you can volunteer your time, you can teach, like you said, teach. If you have a skill that's, you know, valuable to a kid, you can volunteer and teach a class. You know, my volunteering is I'm the club leader for our co-club leader. There's another lady that does it with me. And then each of us takes on the different tasks, and we also do a lot with the actual preparation of the fair too. So it really brings the community together, I think, a lot. And the kids see the work ethic that the parents put in, and you know, that's growing up. I seen that, you know, what it took for those people to do what they put on. And that way it really kind of demonstrated to me you really have to work hard to get what you want.
Yeah. Well, and I like that thought that you guys kind of split things off a little bit, because here in our area we have an enormous fair that is down in Blackfoot, and it's become kind of all about the vendors. I mean, you still have the livestock sheds and everything, but you have this enormous section of the fair that is just vendors. And then you have this enormous section of the fair that's the merry-go-round and the Ferris wheel and all that kind of thing. And it's got to the point that if you show it all, you're guaranteed to walk away with a prize, because there's so few people that come and show anymore. And it's not locals anymore. It's people from outside areas that are coming from like Washington or somewhere else that are coming to fairs to make money. And it's not the local kids anymore that are bringing their own animals in to judge against each other. Instead, I don't know, to me, I think that's the sad part. And because I don't show, you know, shame on me for that, because I don't show. I feel like I don't have the time and the energy to be able to run and do these things. So so this is something that I'd like to ask. I don't remember, do you homeschool?
No, I do not.
See, and for me, this is one, maybe, and it could just have a lot to do with the homeschooling stuff, is that I just always feel half burnt out. But I mean, just because you don't have your kids home all day doesn't mean you're not also burnt out with all the busy things that you're doing. And so does it ever get overwhelming, you know, having kids come home from school and then having to run them to 4-H and then having to teach classes in 4-H and also do the farming and the other things that you're doing?
You know, it really doesn't, to me anyway. You know, we only have the one meeting a month, and then it's just the 1 week out of the year. But the behind the scenes thing, like you said, the classes and things like that, I teach the rabbit classes and the chicken classes and the beef classes. And then, let's see, I did the crocheting classes this year. I try to keep it under 5 things that I'm responsible for as far as classes go. And the kids, the requirement for the kids is 6 hours of training for that particular thing. So 6 hours out of the year, I usually do more. I try to have at least one meeting a month with the kids that are in the actual thing. Can't think of the word right now. Yeah, thank you. And a lot of time management comes into that. I have a calendar that's on my wall that is very colorful. It's actually just right here. I use just different colors for different events that I have to be, where I have to be, and different things like that. It doesn't take up all of my time. And then you got, with the different projects, there's different skill levels too. So in each meeting, I might have a kid that's just starting out, and then I'll have a kid that's kind of an expert, where we just need to sit down and find a pattern for them. Say if we're doing the crocheting, find them a pattern that is going to work for them so that they can get started on their project. And then just keeping them focused and keeping them on task. That way it's not coming down to like a week before the expo and they're like, well, my project's not finished.
Yeah.
And it does, sometimes it's, I'll look at the calendar and be like, I got to get this done.
Yeah.
I mean, this afternoon, we're going to pick up Cassidy's 4-H check from when she sold her steer. So I've got to do that, and we have to turn in our project reports for the end of the year. She's got all those filled out, and we're just going to kill two birds with one stone and get it all done at once. Yeah. So, and I try to group everything together to as much as possible. it helps. So
yeah. Well, I know that we had set out at the beginning of the year to have the kids do some 4-H stuff, and I really thought it was going to be fun, and it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. I wanted it to happen, and sometimes I think it comes down to like feeling inadequate around the leaders and being like, well, I don't know how to do this, and I didn't do this, and will we be able to keep up with things? I'm not sure I can take care of it at home the way that I should be as far as records go. But I think most 4-H leaders are very, very kind about helping parents. Their parents
I try to be,
themselves.
Especially for the first year members.
Yeah.
We've got, I think, our first meeting is going to be in September. And we've got a few families that have shown interest. You really I try to hold their hand for the first year, and then get them involved with different things. Kind of ease them into it a little bit, especially if they have young kids. They're going to be in the club for a while, right. And it requires you to be supportive, because a lot of them have never done it before, or they haven't done it for so long they're kind of out of touch as to what to do and how to do it. Yeah.
Well, okay, let's see. So as far as general benefits, I know that for me as a kid, it's good to learn how to keep records. It's good to be able to get involved in your community. I think for me, that's one of the biggest things, was to get involved with your community, find other people who do things the same way that you do. It doesn't, sometimes in a church group, it can get kind of cliquey, and it's nice to also have a separate group so that you mingle with different groups in the community, and it's not just your church group, or it's not just your 4-H. But to me, I think it had so much to do with community, and moms being able to get out and see skills that other moms have, and the kids having some responsibility, and if they show, being able to get dressed up and get their animal dressed up and show what they've learned. There's so much good in being able to go and have somebody see what you've done, instead of it just being an animal that you sell to go into somebody's freezer. It's so nice to have a little bit of recognition first of how much work you put into this animal.
Yeah, and I think it gives kids a lot of self-confidence, and knowing that they've put so much work into this and people appreciate their work. I learned a lot of public speaking skills. There's a lot of programs in 4-H. You do demonstrations. There's also the public speaking contests that they hold there at the fair. Cassidy did the royalty contest this year. She had to do a speech for that. You learn a lot of interview skills, because when you go to present your project to the judge, you are judged, and you have to learn to answer the questions that they have for you, and you have to know know about your project. So interview skills are learned. Like you said, responsibility. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with this, and time management skills. You got to be able to say, okay, I have this much time to do my project. I need to get it done by this date. I should be working on it X amount of time every day, and different things like that. And with the animals, it's an everyday thing, because if you don't put your time and effort and energy into that animal, your animal's it's not going to behave properly. B, it's not going to be finished. If you take like a steer, for example, they're not going to be finished, so the judge isn't going to place you in a higher placing in your class. You can't present yourself and your animal the correct way if you haven't practiced. A lot of time management skills go into that too. During meetings, I don't know if they did that with your meetings, but we follow the parliamentary procedures, so they learn citizenship skills, the way the government works. Each club is supposed to follow the parliamentary procedures, and it's basically like our government does theirs. You have the president that leads the club, then you got the secretary that records what goes on in the meetings, you've got the treasurer. I don't know about you, but whenever I was a kid, I think I held every single office in my 4-H club. I was in it so long. But
that's awesome.
Let's see. I had a couple other things written down here. Leadership, you learn a lot of leadership skills as well. Whether it be, you're teaching your animal what it needs to do, or you take a group of younger kids. Here they have the youth leaders, which are right underneath the club leader, or excuse me, the not club leaders, project leaders, and they take on responsibilities as well with some of the younger kids. They take on the responsibility of teaching them some of the things that they know, and they learn really great leadership skills as well that way. So a lot of life skills are learned, I think, in 4-H.
I think so.
I really do. So, and then the 4-H, it's run out of the extension program, which is part of the state universities. And not only do they help run the 4-H program, that's a great place for homesteaders to go to also. They have a lot of information. You can go there and get a lot of great information from them too. You're kind of extension agent. Mine, I think she recognizes my number whenever I call, because she's like, hi. She knows me. So, but I think it's more for the 4-H aspect of it, but I do pester her a lot. So, well,
and they're a huge source of information. They'll know your soil type. At our county extension, you can actually take your soil in to get tested. They want you to, they have gardening classes, they have canning information. You can call and say, so what's our altitude here, so that I know what my canning, my pressure canner should be set up. At least ours, it's really, really detailed about those kind of basic skills and the classes that they try to set up, and the resources that they have for people who want to do farming and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's why they're set up, because that's why they're regional. Every county, does every county have an extension agent? Yeah, so does ours. And you can go there and, like you said, learn. They have classes set up. I think the next class they have set up is on financial management of your farm and stuff. So they have a lot of great resources that you can go to, and ours materials that you can borrow.
Yeah, they have materials you can borrow. They have, in fact, ours every year has a tree buying opportunity, where they bring in all of the native trees to our area, the ones that grow really easily here, and you can buy them as little plugs at the correct time of year, and you can get them for like 79 cents a piece, and you order them in big, however big bunches they want, because they want people to be able to plant trees that will succeed in our area. And some of them are fruit growing trees, some of them are shade trees, some of them are windbreak trees. but they get them at a really good price, and because they want to beautify our area, and they want us to know which trees will actually make it, rather than us trying to plant exotics or something that just can't handle our weather. I mean, the extension office is like 4-H for grown-ups.
It is. It really is. And at ours, they have a list of the local farms in the area and everything that they grow. Say you have, you know, a rare chicken breed that maybe somebody's wanting to get into, you can go there and say, okay, is there anybody in the area or anybody in the state that has this breed? Maybe I can go get some breeding stock from them. And it's just not just chickens, it's, you know, other animals as well. So they're just a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. Well, and it's getting to be close to fair time. So before we close up, I would highly encourage everybody, go to your fair, go to your, not just to the big neighboring fair that's, you know, a half hour away, that's huge with all the rides and everything, but go to your local fair when they have the little rabbit shows that there's no other animals, but they have the little rabbit barn set up. Go and support that and go see what the kids are doing and let your kids get excited about it. See your local fairs, find your local activities, unplug from the computer, unplug from the phone. And a lot of times this time of year, every weekend, there's something fun that's going on with your county. In our area, we have things like horse races. We have some monster truck rally type things and some demolition derby type things where the local teenagers get their beat up cars together and run them into each other. I mean,
pig races are always fun.
Yeah, something like that. Every weekend this time of year, there should be something going on with your county that's amazing to go participate in and be part of your community. And it's kind of a dying breed. It's not something that can hold itself up by its bootlaces without people that come and pay the admission fee and come and participate and show support and participation. It won't continue if there aren't people that come and patronize it.
I agree. And it also, you know, the people that run the fairs and things like that, they have to really kind of try and get people to come. Our local expo, there's no admission fee. You can come for free. The way they make their money is off of the food booth.
Right.
While they're there, they buy a meal. Most people do. So involving the community more, it also, like I said, it's on the community leaders as well, and people that participate in it. So
yeah. Well, do we have any parting words for everybody before we go, or just go be part of 4-H, cut back on other less necessary things?
The website that you go to is the 4h.org, 4/h.org. If you want to go look, they have a list of different things. They have a thing where you can plug in your state and your county, and you can figure out what your closest club is. And if there's not one close to you, you can always start your own. I don't know how every state is. I think our state, you have to have like a minimum of like 4 or 5 members, I think. I don't know. Every state's different, but anyway.
I'll make sure to
all
put
I had.
that
I
in
just
the link
wanted
then.
to send people in the right direction if they wanted to get interested in the or get into the 4-H thing, because it really is a great program, and I'm always an advocate for it. I try to anybody that shows any interest, I'm like, yeah, you can do this and this and this, and you can also, they have the book that you can look, and it's got every single project that's available that you are able to. This is the one for Missouri, but every county extension agent will have one. If you're even thinking about it, you can. There's tons of different things that you can do. You don't have to have animals. You can just show in the home arts division and things like that. So
yeah, and when I was a kid, I couldn't bring my horse to any of the horse activities because we didn't have a horse trailer. But a lot of times there was another family who had an extra horse, or a lot of times we were working on bookwork. A lot of these classes actually are about how to take care of the animal and how to feed the animal, and most of the activities, you don't bring your animal to it. You just go and you discuss the project, you discuss what you're learning, and you're doing the work on your own at home, separate from the class.
Yeah, there's a
So,
lot of independent learning that goes on. They
yeah,
kind of
lots of
the
independent.
leader is supposed to guide you, and then you do a lot of the independent learning as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So a lot of times you
yeah,
don't have to own the animal yet.
no, no.
So, well, I think that was perfect, and it makes me excited to go double check what my schedule is for our local fair, because I know it's coming up soon. And last year it was so much fun for the girls to go and see. And every year I'm just like, dang it, we should have brought one of their projects. Why did I not remember that? You know, you don't, in fact, at our fair, a lot of times it's not through the 4-H necessarily. You can bring a project and put it at one of the booths and submit it, and it still counts as a
Yeah,
project, even if it wasn't through 4-H. So
yeah, and open. I think those are called open classes. You can just bring
yeah,
something.
yeah, which is fun. So
Yes.
thank you, Stephanie. And if you guys have any other questions that Stephanie and I should do, if we do another Braid Girls, anything that she has said that has really piqued your interest, we can do more shows. It's super fun to do this together. And
Yes, it is.
it is fun, isn't it? And she's a fount of knowledge and information, very helpful. So make sure to go check out her channel. I'm sure if you put in comments, she'll be willing to help you with any questions that you have on the topics that we talk about. She's JS Farms 2004. And I will make sure to put in the link, also the 4-H link, so you guys can go check that out for your own area. And we'll talk to you later.
Bye.